Okay. Well, quite the facility we're in here. Glad we're able to do it over here in the Shamrock Zone, to be able to see this great venue that we're excited to be a part of and excited to add to game day atmosphere at the Bill. So, busy week for us. The players were off yesterday. We finished fall camp on Sunday. Gave them the first day of classes off to try to get their bearings, and we'll go back to work today. Pretty full week. Continuing to work on game plan for Stanford, continue to massage the depth chart, so to speak, and see what guys fit into this game plan. It's obviously a very talented team we're playing, so we've got our work cut out for us, but excited to get back into football realm and really into game planning. So open it up for questions.
Is there any, I guess, guys that you expected to contribute this year that were injured enough in fall camp, or they might?
Yeah, we lost one in fall camp, a really good player in Taylor Portier, to a lower body injury that he'll miss this season, and we're sad for Taylor because he's such a tremendous kid and a tremendous football player, but Taylor will miss this season.
And then stay with the offensive line. Do you feel like you have your 5 starters settled?
I still think we're in that 8 and 9 mode. We're obviously lose one player in Taylor, but I know that there's 8 for sure that we talked about yesterday as a staff that we see contributing significantly, and we hope to still be able to get that to 9. I know we won't just play 5 guys. We have a lot of depth there, and guys that have had a lot of experience. So we'll play a number of guys.
Chris, Skyler has never been a guy who's going to go out and lead the conference in passing yards, but he obviously is a very efficient quarterback. I'm just curious at the end of games when you and your fellow coaches look and try to evaluate how he or any of your quarterbacks play. What are the key stats you guys look at with Skyler to preach, hey, the judge, here's how we play?
Are you talking throughout the game or just end of game stuff? I mean, it's still efficiency and making great decisions, and that's something we've put him in both he and Will put him in a lot of different situations during fall camp. Situational stuff where it's late in the game to some play drives against the defense, third and longs. We have to get a first down here, and it's 3rd and 9. Well, does that mean you have to throw a pass for 10 or 12 yards? No. Maybe we get us in a 4th and 3 or 4th and 4 situations. We can go for it. So just the efficiency and making great decisions. And he's been so good this fall camp of arm is live, body looks good, moving around really well. We're adding more and more because we can to his plate in terms of game planning and decisions at the line of scrimmage, where he's really sharp on those right now. And now we'll get into the game planning part of it, so we have to dissect a little bit what he thinks he can do and what we think we can do against Stanford.
Are there any 1 or 2 stats, though, you value over others when it comes to quarterback?
Yeah, don't turn the ball over. That's the number one thing. It would possess the football, and that's making great decisions. And then, just being able to keep drives alive. Making the 3rd and 5 play, 3rd and 8 play, 3rd and 2 play, whether it's with your feet, with your arms, or arm. You just have to be able to keep possession, and that's what for us comes down to. Is we're not going to be we hope we're more of a quick strike offense with some of the people we have outside, but we have to be able to manufacture drives, and we have to be able to stay on the field and keep the other team's offense off the field.
It piqued my interest the other day watching a preseason game. We've got Easton playing against Trey, guys that we've
Yep.
in the past. No Carson Wentz in there too. Does Skyler share anything with those guys?
Well, he's closer in my mind to Easton as far as played as much football as he had. I mean, Easton played 50-some games in college, and Skyler's going to, come pretty close to that mark himself. And so just the experience factor that those two shared, and I know they've had conversations, but the fact of being in the system now for going on your 3rd year, there's confidence, there's a comfort level, and so we're really excited about how he's playing right now and how that's going to impact our offense.
Chris, is there a particular area of the team that
we're progressing in all areas. We're not, there's not a real strength where I say, boy, we're really, really solid at this spot. I think we're good across the board. Your weaknesses are going to be found out, unfortunately, as you get into game settings. But hopefully we've done enough things to shore up some of the depth issues we've had in the secondary. That's an area that was of concern that I feel better about because of depth. We're deeper at wide receiver, and that's been an area of concern last year. So, it still comes down to being able to make plays when you get in the game.
Speaking of receiver, it seems like we've heard a lot of good things about Tyrone Howell. Is he continuing to work his way into the rotation there at receiver?
Yeah, I think so. How much it depends on what personnel groupings and things we're in, but we're excited about what he can do. Sebastian Taylor's still coming back from his off-season injury, and we think Sebastian will be ready to play against Stanford. I don't know if he's going to take a full load of 60 plays or something, or 45 plays, so then that becomes a lot of different people. The guy that's been so impressive to me in fall camp from a wide receiver standpoint is Landry Weber, simply because Landry was beat up all last year, had an off-season surgery that has made him so much better, and you can see he feels confident and he's making a lot of plays, not only catching the ball but blocking as well. And so he's one that we were unsure of coming into the season because of some of his injuries in the past, that has really had a phenomenal fall camp.
Seems pretty obvious who the top two linebackers for you guys are right now. Is it settled who the next two would be there right now? Or still pretty cool?
Well, the first one that we feel really good about is Nick Allen. Nick has played an awful lot for us on special teams. The game slowed down for him. He'll back up Daniel Green, but he'll play an awful lot. We're excited about Nick's progress. And then at the other backer spot, we really are looking at three guys based on different packages that we have. And Austin Moore is going to play significantly for us. Keenan Gaskin's going to play, and Eric Munoz. All those guys are playing a little bit of both the Mike and the Will spot, so we have some depth there, and just based on situations where which guy will go in the game.
Let's go back to the depth thing. By the end of last year, you were kind of running out of offensive weapons. Maybe you became very predictable. How much better do you feel about your ability to keep defenses on the heels?
Feel a lot better, obviously, than last season with limitations we had at a variety of positions on both sides of the ball. But we're better at tight end right now. Sammy Wheeler's, he didn't play at the end of the season. He's playing really well right now. Daniel Imatorbebe is playing really well. We have Jackson Eanes doing some really good things. Those are the names that you don't hear as much about. You hear about the Maliks and Phillips and Deuce Vaughns, but you throw the Tyrone Howells and some of the tight ends I mentioned. Joe Irvin's been really, really good this fall. So we have more bodies there and you have an experienced quarterback, which helps too. So I know we're deeper with explosive players.
And the transfer portal, you picked up 5 guys and you had a couple JUCO guys. How important is that going to be for you going forward?
Each year will be different. This year it was really important for us because of the amount of guys that we had lost during the season the year before or at the end of the season. It's still going to come down to a little bit fits of what happens. This roster management thing is going to be really difficult for all head coaches, and I don't know how many kids that are seniors that could be juniors are coming back, and if they all come back, you're not in the market as much. If a few of them come back, you're in the market more. It's one of those things you can't answer today, and probably be later in the season when you do, once you start having those conversations. But that's the thing that all of us coaches are trying to figure out, and unfortunately, you're not going to figure that out until later. You can't prepare for it because I just don't know what's going to happen there.
Defensively, you build up some pretty good depth on the back end, and you've got a plethora of defensive ends and some tackles that have stepped forward. Do you feel like you can be more diverse in your maybe defensive attackers?
Yeah, we sure hope so. With the amount of safeties that we have playing, the ones that people know about are McPherson and Ross Elder and you have Russ Yeast and TJ Smith is healthy, and what a difference it is to have a healthy TJ Smith. Sincere Mason can help us back there, Amaris Brown. So we have a lot of guys that can do different things, have different skill set. Plus then you throw in the corners, you throw Julius Brents in there, you throw Reggie Stubblefield in there, as well as the guys that played last year. We have more bodies that can we match up better against the 10 and 11 personnel spread teams. We think so. This week or 2 weeks from whenever we play Stanford, it might not be that. It might be more bigger bodies because of the nature of the offense. But we feel we're deeper. We don't feel like we're going to have to play a kid like Jerron McPherson 70 snaps a game. We Russ Yeast is playing really, really well right now. So we should be able to cut a lot of those snaps in half in the back end.
Chris, you seem to be very athletic at the running back position. What's your feel for the versatility with those players?
I'm sorry, the what position?
The running back
Yeah.
position.
Obviously it runs through Deuce, and he's going to get a good chunk of the reps. And you throw in Joe Irvin, that is going to play an awful lot of football for us, whether it's him being the single back or the fact that we're in a two-back set or the three-back set with Jacardier Wright will be in that mix. DJ Giddens, I really believe will be in that mix, whether it's now or as the season goes along. He's done some really good things that we're excited about him possibly playing as a freshman. We just got to continue to slow the game down for him. We feel like we're gaining some versatility there, and more guys than other than just Deuce can make plays.
And you seem to have a propensity to use your backs as slot backs and your wide receivers. Do you expect that to continue this year?
Yeah, it will, but we still have Phillip out there that we have to get the football to. Phillip there's a reason why he's an All-American as a punt returner, and we have to get him we got to find creative ways to get him the football, and we're doing that right now. And he's becoming a much better just pure receiver, running routes and understanding concepts, understanding coverages. He'll still be a slot for us, but we'll put him outside as well. And we have to find ways that it can't be just a running back out there, although Deuce is pretty good out there. Phillip is had a great fall camp. We have to find ways to get him the football.
Sticking with running backs, philosophically, why has it been important to you over the years to have a solid foundation of not just one, but 3 and 4 guys you can go to?
Keep them fresh is the easy answer. The second one would be the fact that we're playing a lot of two-back sets, and sometimes they are flexed out, or the stress you put on a defense by running 2 and 3 back sets. You don't know exactly where the play is going to start at, and a lot of those guys are on special teams, and so it's just been something where we want to make sure that we have enough guys engaged that can make plays, because it's hard to play running back in any level of football and be a guy that's taking the punishment for 25 or 30 reps a game, and so we need to make sure that we're able to spread that around.
When you mentioned game planning for Stanford already, how do you split that up? How much time do you looking at Stanford right now, and how much time do you spend working on yourself?
Still a little bit of both, obviously. In fall camp, that's all it was working against each other. We didn't spend, we spent a little time on Stanford, but now we kind of flipped the script, and we have to start getting into some scout team looks, and we'll do that starting today. But we still are going to sharpen each other. We're still going to do a lot of things, K-State versus K-State. I think it makes us better. It makes us more alert in some of the speed of the game, especially at wide receiver and defensive back, for us to do some 7-on-7 and some red zone stuff. But as well as we need Timmy Horn going against Noah Johnson, because I think it makes both those guys better. So it'll be limited, but we'll still do some on a daily basis.
Coach, I just wanted to go a little bit more into detail on DJ Giddens and kind of his story on how he ended up here, and then what he's done to separate himself the way that he has over the last couple of weeks.
Well, he's just from right down the road at Junction, so that's how he ended up here. I mean, we knew who he was all the way through the last few years, and I was able to watch him play when my son played over there, and knew he had an unbelievable amount of ability. And so Coach Anderson did a great job recruiting him. Coach Sped did as well, and we knew his athleticism. And now How could he understand what we're doing? How good was he to be able to comprehend, as well as the maturity factor to play college football? It's just different from high school, and he's done a nice job. He's a very strong running back, breaks arm tackles and stuff. We're having him continue to learn the protections, and he's getting so much better at that. He's got nice hands out of the backfield. It's just, you're not going to force feed a kid like that 40, 50 plays early on in the season, but he's somebody that we think has a chance to help us this year.
Does a guy like that kind of falling under the radar, I mean, is that common for guys to just kind of sneak up on you and then show up in fall camp and make the impact that they do?
No, he didn't fall under the radar in our mind. I don't know if, I mean, we were well aware of him and well aware of his ability for a while, and we were not surprised. We were pleased with how quickly he was able to acclimate to college football, and so he's a guy that we've been on for a while, and we're excited about getting him here.
With Taylor Cordier out, are you still using Cooper DB on the outside, or are you
Both.
moving him?
He's moving around. Katori's moving around. Carver Willis allows us to move guys around because Carver's strictly playing tackle and doing a really nice job out there. Another player that we're really pleased with that's going to play a lot of football for us this year is Hadley Panzer. And we're playing him inside more, but it frees up a lot of rotations, whether it's Katori outside or Beebs outside. Hadley's done some good things, and whether or not it's early in the season or as the season goes along, Hadley's going to play a lot of football for us, and we're excited about his progress as a young player.
Are you pretty well set with your first five at this point, or how you?
Like I said, we talked earlier, it's probably a first 7 or 8 right now, and so they're all going to play.
Do you know who your captains are, or are you in the process of doing that?
We're in the process of it. Should have it done early to midweek.
And the last question for me is, talk about Panzer and Giddens. Is there any other true freshmen that you think you're going to rely on this year?
Well, if you look at it the other way, Deuce Vaughn's still a true freshman. So, I mean, I get them mixed up as far as what's your version of a true freshman. We're going to play a lot of young guys. I think Marvin Martin's a guy that has done some really good things in the back end. Now, whether or not he can be an impact there, R.J. Garcia has done some really good things at wide receiver. Just a couple names off the top of my head that are what you would call a true freshman, have a chance to help us out. And so, but that's still an ongoing process. That's why we're still, to the question we had, we're still doing K-State versus K-State and not always scout, because we need to continue to develop and find guys.
You just mentioned R.J. Garcia and you mentioned Landry Weber earlier. I'm wondering who's sticking out after guys like Tyrone Howell, Sebastian Taylor, Phillip Brooks, and Malik Knowles. After those four, who's the guy that's really standing out?
Well, we talked to Landry already. We talked Tyrone Howell. The other one that I'm really excited about, he was nicked up a little bit middle of fall camp, but now is back healthy, is Keenan Garber. Keenan is one that is extremely talented. He's gotten bigger, gotten stronger, more confident. Keenan's going to play a lot of football for us too.
Last thing, the first time in 7 years that Joe had been a defensive coordinator, being in charge of everything for defense, call plays. After you guys kind of met after last season, what did he feel like he gained the most and learned about himself as a coach?
Well, I think all of us learned so much last year. How do you game plan when 4 or 5 of your starters are out on Friday? I mean, that's not a fair thing for any of those guys. I know he learned a ton just about how he fits, how he uses the coaches, the strengths of his. Joe's one of the most intelligent football guys I've ever been around, and I'm excited for him because I think your first year you learn so much about yourself more than you do about being a defensive coordinator and calling things. and I know he'll have a really good year. So I think it's all of us, though. I mean, everybody on defense, and I'm probably more on defense right now than I have been since I've been here, as far as actively doing drills and actively meeting with players and coaching, and just utilizing all the people and all the pieces you have. And I know Joe's doing a great job of that right now.
I know last time we met with you, you mentioned that Ty wanted to do all the jobs, but you were hoping maybe some other guys would step up and take the pressure off him. Has that happened yet, or is Ty looking like the guy everywhere?
No, Tate Winkle's really done a nice job, and all those jobs are ongoing still. Ty and Jack punting, Tatum and Ty a little bit on field goals, and Tatum's really had a really good fall camp. And Chris Tennant has helped us on kickoffs as well. I mean, we have depth at the specialists right now. And in a perfect world, we still would want to give Ty a break. Now, I feel comfortable to say Jack could punt, and we saw that last year. I feel comfortable to say Tatum could kick field goals, and I feel comfortable that Chris Tennant could probably kick off. So I know we're going to be able to, but we still have to work through that and see what skill set is Ty's best, because he's a really talented kicker.
Seems like at nickelback you've been using some different people, but are you getting closer to settling in on maybe who are some of the
Yeah, at nickel for us right now would be Reggie Stubblefield and Amaris Brown. And we have a couple of different packages where we'll use a little bit bigger player in Wayne Jones and Ryan Hennington. And then we have more of our speed nickel package where we're using more of Reggie and Amaris Brown. But that's a position that we feel much better about at the end of fall camp than we did at the beginning of fall camp. So we feel like we have 4 candidates there that are all going to play some.
What about Pennington and Brown? You talked about moving them to linebacker. Are they still?
Henny and Wayne Jones are playing really the nickel spot in our base defense. So it's against Stanford. They're going to play what is the nickel, but it's really an outside backer in our 4-down stuff, just because there's not as many wide receivers in the game. If you put a plethora of wide receivers in, then we'd probably go with the speed kids playing at nickel. So it's going to be a little bit based on what the personnel is that we see. But pleased with Henny and Wayne playing. You know, our nickel is still our Sam backer and our 4-down, so they're both going to play as well as those 2 nickels.
Coach, 2 years ago, y'all had one of the better defenses in the Big 12. Last year, took a bit of a step back. Obviously, there was a lot of COVID problems with that, but how much confidence do you have that this defense will be able to get back to what they had?
Well, we need to, and we're practicing better as far as running through our leverage, tackling. That's what it all comes down to, is explosive plays. And if you can eliminate explosive plays by making open field tackles and not getting beat over the top, and ours was more of an issue of missing tackles. We've really emphasized it a bunch in spring and fall. I know we have better personnel than we did last year across the board. You know, we had some elite players last year, but overall depth-wise across the board we're deeper, and I think that'll help us. But still, proof is in the pudding. We have to show it out on the field, and we have to tackle better. And even though we've emphasized the heck out of it, you still only can tackle so much in a practice before, in a game situation, it's got to come to fruition. And so I'm excited to see how much better we are as a tackling team.
Anything else? All right, appreciate it.
Okay, thanks. Have a